Ahoy! You are listening to
Glass Half Full.
I'm Mulla, the sensible twin.
And I'm Laura, the funnier, prettier, braver, smarter, more...
Okay, we get it. Anyway, welcome to our podcast, where we chat over a hot beverage.
Or cold, it's completely your choice.
About bits and bobs that help us feel more positive.
And don't forget humor. We are very, very funny as well.
Yes, anywho, hope you enjoy.
Yes, hope you enjoy. We're so funny, like really funny. Hello, everybody.
Here we go again.
Here we go again on my own. I'm not on my own.
Yeah.
We go together forever. Anyway, how are you, Ulla, today?
I'm
plenty
brilliant.
good.
Yeah, I'm plenty good, yes. Thank you very much. How are you, Laura?
I'm plenty good. The weather is absolute dog shite again. It was nice for like a second on Monday. And now it's cold and there's har.
Me and, Tina and I went even for a swim.
Yeah.
Well, Sunday and Monday.
Aye.
La-di-da in the ocean. So, yeah.
That was very cool that you managed to do that. I myself was camping with friends. Shout out to Camilla and Jason if they're listening. That was really fun.
Hiya.
Need to do more of that. Want to do more of that. But yeah, what are we drinking today?
So, my drink was provided by Laura Lisa, and it is the Pepsi Max Lime, is it?
Yes.
And what are you having?
Just a diet lemonade. Nothing
Cool.
fancy. I don't know why we're doing that segment here because it's
just
never
kind of like
fun.
to set the mood,
Set the mood,
you know? Because, winter times probably is like, with the coffee or like hot cocoa, and sometimes it's been a little alcoholic beverage.
Beverage, yeah.
So, we are not role models, so we just drink what we want.
Yeah. Drinks companies, you are able to, if you want, send us beverages, which we will talk about on our podcast. That's world famous.
We're open for sponsorships.
As always. But we are here in our living room today because we had obviously last month our lovely guests here that were bus ladies, and me and Paul have not moved the microphones upstairs.
I'm
just
not opposed to that at all, because we get to sit on a really comfy sofa.
Yeah, we're just chilling on the sofa, having a nice blather. What more can you want from life?
Yeah. Do you have anything to shout out about that?
I don't this time, and also because we record this having recorded the interview already, so we know that the person we interviewed has several, so we'll just leave that up to that person this time around. I don't know why I'm beating around the bush. By the time you would have seen who it is, but anyway, so I won't have any shout-outs, and I think you said you also don't have.
No.
But that's fine. So we won't waste any more of your listeners' time.
But we are open for learning finding I can't speak. Finding out about new businesses or activities around in Aberdeen or nearby or somewhere else. If you want to let us know and make your pitch.
Yeah.
So we will see.
Yeah, you can literally
relate to it, and we will shout out about it.
Send us a DM on Insta with the tag. That will be helpful for us as well, and hopefully for the people that you are advertising like that.
Yes. You're gonna learn about Estonia now. Boop boop. After having recorded 16 episodes already, you might think that there's not too many fun facts left to say about Estonia, but no. There's more. And by the way, this wasn't this on Estonia. It's our itsy bitsy motherland, and there is still plenty more to kind of let you know about and
Nice.
discuss. one tiny little fun fact is that Tallinn was used as a filming location for the 2020 science fiction action thriller film Tenet.
Oh.
How about that?
How about that?
How about it?
I've seen it. Have you seen
have
Tenet?
not. No.
It was quite serious by the end. It was not a rom-com, put it that way.
Right. So
But it was interesting.
Have a mood
Yeah.
for it. Okay.
Yeah.
A bit serious.
But that's Ace.
Today I would like to kind of talk about a bit of like a recent history. Well, it's like 30-year ago history when we regained our independence. There's this I don't know why I just felt like bringing it up this time. Maybe because there's like elections coming up soon. We're not talking about politics here, but yeah. So it's called the Singing Revolution. It stands as a defining chapter in Estonia's modern history, symbolizing the nation's unwavering quest for freedom and self-determination. This transformative period culminated in Estonians' restoration of independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. So you might ask, like, why such a name? So central to the revolution were massive rallies where Estonians defiantly sang illegal national anthems and patriotic hymns, defying Soviet suppression and asserting their national identity. So sometimes we had like singing festivals at night as well.
Yeah.
Groups of people gathered and just sang and sang.
Mm-hmm.
So we are kind of like a singing nation. And the term singing revolution encapsulates the power of music and collective expression in mobilizing the masses and galvanizing a movement for change. Through peaceful resistance and cultural solidarity, Estonia reclaimed its sovereignty and paved the way for a new era of democracy and independence.
Wow.
And that is it.
Very fascinating. Also having pretty much lived at the time.
Yeah.
We were
6?
5 or 6 or something.
I mean, yeah,
we would
6
know.
months old. No. Yeah.
But yeah, like, and we remember how the tanks went, even though mom's like adamant that we couldn't because they
Couldn't
weren't.
have seen them. Yeah.
But why
It's
do
somehow in
maybe in
our
the
memory.
TV then? But I feel like we were like
Yeah.
on the balcony and they were going, and I remember like the atmosphere was like joyous that they were going.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course
Like
we have
relief.
been. Yeah, and we were part of the Baltic chain.
Which I will talk about in a different episode.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice, very interesting and topical.
So we
not
sang
topical.
ourselves free.
Yeah, we could honestly say that.
And it was peaceful.
Offload.
Minute. Alrighty.
Alrighty, let's
Ready.
moan.
For the offload, a minute.
Would you like to go first?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
You know,
Let's
let's get this little story over with. Then, in it.
Oh, 1 second. Pardonnez-moi. I will
So
get
that-
my timer up, and my timer is going to start now.
Right. So the other day, I got a bit of a scare whilst walking to my car. La-di-da, no, I've got a car.
Brag.
So anyway, just before I reached my car, I saw from the corner of my eye how a big load of seagull shit very audibly landed on the car parked right in front of mine.
Oh.
I was shooketh. I really thought I was going to be the next target. And it was just typical that I could not get my car keys out of my pocket fast enough. On this occasion, my car and I were spared from getting hit by shit. But on another occasion, on a day that I last got my car washed, a seagull or
10
perhaps
seconds.
a merry band of them shat on it mere hours after washing. So those rascals,
3,
I tell ya.
2, 1.
La 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 la.
Did you actually manage to go to the end of your, what's it called? Sorry, that was me.
Spiel. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, good timing.
Thanks.
Yeah. For the listener, seagull shat on my head when I was 7 and went to the new school, the first day in school, 1st of September in Estonia.
I'm pretty sure it was like a
Second
one
grade.
of the end of term parties, like a last day of school.
I thought it was the first day. We were very well dressed.
Yeah, but
And then
we
went
also
to Mom's
in primary
work.
school we did dress for the last day of school as well. There was like a
I always say
finishing
this
up.
story as in it was like 1st of September after the event when we went to Mom's work, or like literally
perhaps.
it was lucky because it was on the way to Mom's work.
Yeah, after
But then
the
again, why wouldn't Mom be on our
occasion.
1st of September? It's a very,
That's
very,
what I
very
mean. Like I
special
think it was
day.
the last one and didn't really bother with the last day.
Yeah, they've been there all year now.
Don't care.
But yeah, I'm still waiting for the
Your
riches
luck to
to
reach you?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot moan. I have had my fair share of luck.
I
fair share.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, for the humiliation, I need to be
Humility.
more. Anyway, my turn.
Yep.
Do you have?
Do you want to go? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And we go now.
So my rant this month is when you buy, let's say, a concealer. Those of us who have to use it, I sometimes use it, obviously in the winter months more so. And you've found your perfect shade. Just the perfect, it's not too, I don't know, like Dorito hued, or it's not too pale. And then the shop, let's rhyme it with Schmupperdrag, like just discontinues that shade. And you
How
are
dare they.
back to the drawing board, and it's so I do not have time to go and test all of the concealers. And also I don't really care about makeup too much. I just want one thing that helps me and is just making me look like all right and not blotchy. And yeah, that's what my rant is this time.
10.
And also, what's with them all being different names, like different numbers, systems? It's very hard to figure out what you
3,
need.
2, 1.
Concealers. Yeah. So there we go. But do you have a concealer shade that you know and trust, and you know that it's gonna be in the shops?
I don't really pay it much attention. I did find one really good one, but I've not bought it again because I think it's quite expensive. I just go kind of for the lightest one or like translucent.
Yeah, I suppose you do. Yeah.
Because I am such pale skin lady.
Yeah, you're a pale skinned lady.
But I have had numerous times this faux pas that I put some concealer on and throughout the day it's gotten like yellower or they do that. Like,
but in this day and age, with the amount of makeup out there, a very good quality, a lot of different varieties of shades, right? Even for dark skins, which is so awesome that they do that now. I still struggle to find my shade, and I just want to have it, and then for the rest of my life I don't have to think about it. That's my shade, and that's always available, and it has the same, I don't know, sand or whatever name, but it doesn't.
But,
on some of them it's like numbers.
Tan sometimes,
Well,
and then you have to change the
then
shade.
I won't use it, but it's for the winter months,
suppose,
Anyway, what do we say?
Anyhow.
Rant over. Guest of the month.
Who is it?
I do not know.
Tell me who is it?
I don't know who it is, but shall we find out?
Okay.
So here we are. Hello. Hello to our this month's podcast guest, Scott.
Hi there.
Hi.
Oh, that sounds so corny. I didn't like
Hi
it.
there.
Hi. I've done it now, though.
You've done it now. There's no turning back. We are where we are. Where are we?
We are in Stonehaven. We're down beside the waterfront outside of the chipper and the ice cream place.
And it's a very windy day. We don't know how much those mini lapel mics ASMR pick up.
But we are cozily inside the tangerine machine, aka Laura and Paul's orange van.
I don't think there's anybody who doesn't know about that anymore. It doesn't matter for this interview. Scott, without further ado, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Wow. So
Who are you?
who am I? How far do you want to go back?
Like before birth,
Before birth.
definitely generations back.
So I'm a 36-year-old man. I'm white, just so the listeners can know. I live in Stonehaven currently, so that's why Laura and Ula very kindly came down to interview me here, so I didn't have to do much travelling. I've lived in Aberdeen pretty much most of my life. I lived in Glasgow for a short spell, which is very cool, quite eye-opening. I'm a youth worker, so I used to work with Laura. Are we allowed to break that wall, Laura?
Yes, of
And
course.
the reason why, I used to work with Laura at Aberdeen Foy. I think we worked together for 3 years. Before
3 years,
before we
or
left the
so.
ship.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've continued working there, and very much enjoy working with young people and helping them out. I enjoy sports. I enjoy music. Sports. I like really hanging out with my pals. All the kind of stuff people like doing. I'm also just very nice, I think.
You are very nice. I wanted to circle back.
I'm not really sorry. That's so like.
It's in now. We will not cut it away.
But no, just kidding.
Toot your own horn.
No, Scott is very nice, so it's very good to say.
It helped us move a heavy object.
Oh yeah,
I did.
my God,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I wanted to circle back on the sport in particular that I know that you like is.
It's football. Yes.
Oh, I was going to say golf for some reason.
Oh, it is golf. I mean, football is from when I was younger, I used to play football a lot, so that was my favorite sport. But then age and food catches up on being able to run. So the natural move is to a sport that you can walk about and do very little actual physical exercise to play with. So yeah, golf is the one I love. I love playing golf at the moment. Yeah, that's my guy.
Do you use golf buggies?
I've used a golf buggy once. It was really fun. Me and my friends.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It was like the day before my wedding. So there's a golf course across from where I got married. So me and my friends went and played there the day, but we're like, we'll make a big day of it and get golf buggies. But it's also, we were playing with one of my friends who had never played golf before. So it seemed a bit like redundant getting in a golf buggy to drive 2 yards after he hit it, to then take the next shot. But yeah, it's lots of fun because you can drive quite irresponsibly and no one's there to tell you off.
And you can even I think you can drink. Can't you?
You can, yes. Well,
not that we are all about that.
No, people have done that, I've heard, in the past. But actually not something I've ever done. I've never drunk and played golf before.
There's always
I'm all about the sport, you see. All about the competition.
Yeah. But it does give you like some exercise for walking, which none of us do a lot of these days.
So I think it works out on my phone. I do something like, I don't want to sound like really like
do sound.
Yeah. You do about 7 kilometers per round.
Oh, what?
So it's like 18 holes. Most courses are like, that sounds really nerdy, but most courses are like over 5,000 yards, 6,000 yards. Okay. So by the time you have to walk to all the different balls you've hit in the wrong places, you can actually get up quite a bit of a total walking. So you do about 7 kilometers a walk.
And
but that is spread over. Well, that's the other question. So if I'm playing on my own or with like just a couple of us and there's no queue in front of us, it takes about 2.5 hours, which is really nice.
Oh yeah.
But if there's a queue, there's 4 hours. And
wow.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Getting stuck behind other people. Quite annoying. And I'm not a patient man when it comes to trying to get stuff done. But yeah, it's really fun. It's something like, it's the first thing you could do after COVID. So me and my wife's brother, like you could go and do it because it's a social thing you could do together without having to worry about social distancing. And then the minute I started doing that, I was like, oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever done. Because I hadn't played for years. But yeah, it's so good. I love golf.
And you can probably like, I don't know, maybe I'm off the beat there, but it could be also quite mindful, like you're concentrating, trying to hit the ball, and like it's not like a high velocity thing.
Yeah, there's not a huge like impact on the body and stuff. And it's really nice actually because like it's probably the only thing I do where I don't walk with like headphones, or if I'm on my own, I'm not talking to anyone, and it's outside, you get the sunshine. Well, in Aberdeen you get sunshine sometimes, but yeah, you're outside, you get like to hear nature a bit more, which again sounds a bit lame, but I think nowadays when lots of people go around with headphones on or you're in social media and that, to do something that is just focusing on that thing you're doing and outside is really, really cool.
Of course, yeah.
I really like it.
I want to ask about your job because I know how it could be sometimes. So like, but sometimes it can be very rewarding being a youth worker, right?
Sometimes it can. So I'm on holiday in 2 days' time.
Oh yeah,
I'm at the last minute.
I'm at the stage where I need the holiday.
Yeah.
Because I think youth work. So I tell my friends what I do for a job. I like to tell them all the fun stuff I do. So like today I went and played foot golf with somebody, and I baked cakes and stuff in the morning. And you tell them those fun bits, and it doesn't sound like a real job. It doesn't sound like you're actually doing that much work. But before that, like I had to go to a meeting. So you do these things called multi-agency meetings. So you meet with the school, the young parents, any kind of other supports. And sometimes they're so heavy going. Like my young person has so much stuff going on, and you've got people who want different things, and sometimes trying to be the nice guy in the middle of all that, or the person who kind of stands between to try and see it from both sides, trying to get some sort of compromise. Like you'll know as well, Lauren, same with you, that it's exhausting, like to do that sometimes. But the rewards outweigh, I think, the negatives. But I think it's important to take breaks from time to time.
Absolutely.
So that's why I've got like a week and a half coming off, and I cannot wait just to not have to. And this sounds a bit brutal, and it's not meant to, but just not to have to care about anyone else.
No,
I can just do my own stuff. I don't have to worry
Understandable.
about what anyone else is up to.
we definitely know what you mean.
Yeah.
You have to like also, it's a corny saying, but fill your cup.
Yeah,
innit?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And like and not even that, like everyone we work with, like what the working environment's like, everyone you work with is super nice and stuff. But like there's just a lot going on. So I think to get that kind of clean break from everything, and just to go and do absolutely nothing. I can't wait for it.
It's like emotionally draining, but not like physically, but emotionally sometimes to be everything for everyone, or that young person, no matter how lovely they could be, is rightly so training.
But,
so
yeah, it's just a lot.
fair
And I think as well, like so I'm 36, as I said before.
Never.
But you
Wait,
have
didn't
this.
you say 37?
But we have all these life experiences now, so we know. Like I was having a chat with a young person who keeps getting into like scraps with people, but like trying to drill down. It's like, but what's the goal, or what's the achievement from fighting? And it's like, oh, it's just like so people don't think you're like. Can you swear on this?
Kind
Not
of.
so much. I won't swear there. So people don't think you're like weak, or don't think you're a big wimp.
Yeah.
And you're like, and it's like, but who cares? And I think when you realize that when you get older, but I think when you're young and you're stuck in that moment, and like that is the thing that is important to you. Oh God, I'm just like, just don't fight somebody.
Yeah.
Like you'll have a much better time if you're not fighting. So there's like, as I say, there's that like peaks and troughs of it. Some of it's really, really great and rewarding. Some of it is rewarding, but it's harder work than I think a lot. And I think people who work in this kind of services, as you two do as well, you'll sacrifice yourselves a lot when it comes to things, and you'll put the young person's need ahead of your own need, and that's exhausting too. And then you've got to go home and have a life, and if you've got partners or that, you've got to kind of support them through stuff. It's just a lot sometimes, but not to sound like sad about it. So I really like my job. But it's a lot to
you
do.
love your job. I was gonna say it's just any job where you need breaks from anything. So it's fair enough.
Like I think we've all experienced that. Sometimes you're like, oh, I get paid for this. This is so fun, and then there's the next day you realize, oh, that's why I get paid for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
exactly. Well, we can
off to our next question.
Up to you. You're up.
Don't mean to put you on the spot, but
we do. It's an interview.
That's the whole reason you're here. But what made you laugh recently?
Oh, that's a good question. What did make me laugh? So there's a man. This is football related, so it might go over the heads of you, Laura.
Yes, definitely.
But there's a man called what's his name? His name's gone out of my head now, but he's got an Instagram page it's called JJ Bull. That's his name. Instagram page called Fit Bar, That Bar. He's from Inverurie, I think it is.
Okay.
But he works for The Athletic, which is a big media sports company. But he has started making these like really silly songs. That are football. He's done them for ages anyway, but he's done them sort of Euro related. So Scotland have a player called John McGinn.
Okay.
And it's a song about John McGinn, but it's done kind of like a dance music, kind of like trancey kind of thing, but with him singing these ridiculous lyrics about him.
Okay.
Like if John McGinn was a dinosaur, he would have saved them by heading the meteor away when it came, because he's a footballer.
Right.
Which, when I say it like that, sounds rubbish, but it's really, really funny. So
like you should have been there.
Should have been there to see it. But it is really funny. I'll send it to you guys after, so you can watch it and laugh.
Would you want to shout out about it? Like give an Instagram handle, or do you listen to it on Spotify?
So it is on Spotify. He's it's the only song he's got on Spotify of his football songs. But I think he's on Twitter as JJ Bull. He is a contributor to there's a sports page called Tifo. They make all these really cool short football videos that are like infographics, like made up and stuff. It's really, really cool. And he also contributes to the I've forgotten it. It's a football podcast to listen to, but it's really good.
Yes.
So if you like football, that's the
We
person
can
to go
put a
to.
link into our show notes.
That'll go.
Absolutely.
Football Weekly, that's what he contributes to.
Football Weekly.
Except it's not Football Weekly, that's the other podcast I listen to. I just remembered that. I'll find it. You'll get it.
Yeah, you guys will see it in the notes of the show. Cool. Nice. Anything else you want to add about the hilarity?
What's made me laugh? I can't actually think. I'm trying to think if there's any kind of programs I've watched that's really made me laugh recently, but not so much. I'm rewatching House of Dragons at the moment, and there's not much laughs in that. It's very good.
Very true.
It's quite opposite.
It's quite opposite. So yeah, not very much in that. I've restarted rewatching Arrested Development. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that.
I still haven't properly watched it, but
Michael Cera and all the Jason Bateman, all them.
Very, very funny. So we restart. I was telling a colleague at work about it, and I forgot about the because I hate when you talk about something and you just forget who all the characters are. But Tobias.
Tobias. Okay.
When he pretends to be, I think it's Mrs. like Winterbottom, which is like a play on Mary Poppins and Mrs. Doubtfire. And he tries to impress his daughter, and he just jumps off of the balcony, but just goes through a table on the floor.
Oh no!
I was telling a colleague about that, but that made me laugh a lot.
Like, I need to watch that.
Laugh. Yeah, it's definitely worth
very
a rewatch.
Quite feel good. Even though there are some storylines that are a bit like make you think, family dynamics and things like that. But yeah,
it's good up until the third series, and then it got cancelled, and then they brought it back for Netflix for a fourth series. But they brought it back when everyone couldn't do it, so they changed the format of it, and it was rubbish.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend that. But the first three series are golden.
I will add it to my list. Talking of lists, so small.
Was that a segue?
Yeah, such a good one. I'm so professional.
Standing ovation. Yeah, you can't see me standing up.
Back to my cool segue. Talking of lists, what's on your bucket list or aspirations list?
So
anything big?
I'm not a very aspirationally kind of person.
Fair.
One of my bucket list things is to go and watch Scotland in a European tournament, and that's what I'm going to do on my holiday.
Oh, nice! Oh my god, exciting then.
Yeah, really exciting. So we're going to Germany in a couple of days' time. There's a group of us going for a couple of days to just be in Germany for it, and then me and Alison are going up to Cologne to watch Scotland versus Switzerland. So yeah, really, really exciting. That's something I really want to do. I actually I never really think of a bucket list. I did, like, my honeymoon, I went to New Zealand, which is somewhere I've always wanted to visit.
Yeah.
So that was kind of bucket listy. The only thing we've kind of added to it recently. Do you guys watch Race Around the World?
I know
about it.
Oh,
but
you should definitely watch it.
Okay.
But this series, they started off in Japan. And when it started, I was like, I've not really got any interest in going to Japan.
Yeah.
And about 10 minutes in, I was like, I need to go to Japan.
Same.
So,
I want to go there.
Same.
Yeah. The technology, but
too.
Also the nature.
So the good thing about the Race Around the World program is, like, so the concept for people who don't know it is the flight of where they start to where they go, they get that amount of money. But they're not allowed to fly, they're not allowed to use phones to book stuff, and they've got to travel between all these checkpoints throughout different countries. So you get a real good view of, like, there's loads of bits of Japan that I wouldn't, because I think everyone sees Tokyo and you see this kind of amazing built up city, but actually seeing the bits that are like a bit more rural and a bit more like actual Japan, it looked amazing. I think going there would be nice. And I think I've also discussed I'd like to play St Andrews golf course at some point.
There we go. That's already a few.
So they
would
be my two bucket list kind of guys.
Cool.
I think, but nothing else I can really think of.
No, but that's plenty.
Yeah.
That's a very cool.
I think just to carry on living as well. It's quite
and also being on a
list.
podcast is now tech.
Yeah, I've never been on a podcast actually. So yeah,
and it is a world famous one.
Talking to a tiny, teeny microphone in a van is not what you probably thought in a podcast. But hey ho.
Well, I saw a car parked 2 down that had your hashtag on it for yours, so it must be a very.
We have
good.
not sure what to talk about. We walked here to.
It wasn't the white one, was it?
No, not at all.
But that's really good ones.
What's on your bucket list?
Japan.
Yeah, Japan, and then either New Zealand or Australia. New Zealand more because there's no snakes.
Yeah, there's nothing dangerous. Saying that, right? So we went to New Zealand, and I was like, it's pretty safe here because there's none of that stuff. But when we got there was like a cyclone. Typhoon kind of thing chasing us for a bit. So it chased us a little bit down the coast. and eventually caught us. So we're like, okay, that's fine. And then we got a boat over to the South Island, which was very lucky because all the rest had been cancelled. And then when we were on the boat, there was an earthquake.
Oh, no.
And it was like the worst one Wellington had had in 50 years. But we were just leaving Wellington. But I was like, oh, maybe it's not as safe here. And
Did you feel it?
Yeah, so we were on the boat and there was like a judder. So it was like...
Because that could create like a tsunami.
Tsunami, which was massive. I had a huge panic because like lots of people are scared of tsunamis, but I have like an irrational fear of them. And I was like, oh my... And the guy across from me was this like old American man. And he was like, so when does the tsunami come? And I was like, shut up. Please be quiet. But there was this brilliant like 80-year-old nice little New Zealand lady, and she was like don't worry about it. It's a big magnitude, but it's actually really deep under the ground, so it won't cause any bother. And she calmed everyone down. Okay. So she was really cool.
How did you know?
Hero.
Even if she was just amazing. I don't know how she did it.
Good for her for saying that. Even if she didn't, what you gonna do? Like swim to the shore at that point?
Well, exactly. Right? Well, I think if there's a tsunami, I mean, don't quote me on this if you're stuck in a tsunami. But I think the safest place to be is on the sea because you would like ride the wave as the wave builds up.
Yeah. If your boat that makes sense. Like is equipped for it, like that it doesn't go under.
Yeah. I think as long as you're like kind of on it.
Yeah.
I think you'd be okay.
I think this is a good time now
for the next question.
Yeah.
So, as an avid listener of our podcast,
yes,
which you definitely are, of course. You would probably know what the next question is, or you've heard of it.
But we will say it anyway.
Yes.
Thank you. It'd be nice for the listeners because you might have new listeners who don't know the format.
Yeah. I'm just kind of delaying so you have time to think of the answer.
You haven't asked the question, so he doesn't have to.
So the question is, the award goes to...
Mm-hmm. So, if you explain quickly, Ulla.
So, that means that you have a chance to think of someone you would like to give an award to.
Could be a nasty, sarky one too. It doesn't have to be
a nice
dripping with like
slow
love.
clap one, like
good Don't job. Do that close to the mic.
Sorry. Or like a really like a genuine one.
Yeah. We've had all sorts, haven't we?
Yes.
We have got like the best country, somebody or best city or something to like our mom or something or
girlfriend.
Have
boyfriend.
You got any?
That's such ideas? It's a good question.
Thank you.
So I think if we're gonna I think people who work in either like nationalized things like the NHS. I mean, this sounds really like I'm looking for a halo above my head. But like people who work in those kind of things or work in third sector, like ourselves, I think a lot of us need a pat on the back and a little bit of a cheer.
What? I love that actually.
But I think just because what we discussed earlier, just kind of that mental drain that goes on people, and I think the expectation for people in those situations to go that extra mile is quite high.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, may I add that the salaries are not necessarily reflecting our workload at times. We are probably both or all of us quite lucky with our job places. I know that there's way worse ones, but as a rule, like obviously third sector and obviously very funding related.
Yeah, I would also say as well. So my wife is a psychologist, so I know how hard she works out. But I'm not going to give my wife a shout out because I feel that's too corny.
But you can give a mini one.
A little mini one, but she's done a very good job, and I know the stresses those kind of people go underneath. One of my friends, I think people who are entrepreneurs are also deserve quite a big shout out. So one of my friends, she runs her own accountancy firm, runs it with someone else, but they recently won this competition to get loads of funding for them to start up a new project that they're running through. So I think people who are kind of entrepreneurial, folk who just do stuff. So my friend, same friend, so we moved house, so she has put up our curtain rails, she has put up our coat rack kind of thingies, and she just learns how to do the stuff. She just goes on YouTube, does it, and then goes and gives it a go. I think people who just have that kind of let's just give it a go and try it stuff, they deserve a bit of a shout out, because I don't know how to do anything anything at all.
Like that as well.
I'm quite partial to flat pack furniture. I love
Ulla is very good and
I made my wardrobe like that.
Nice.
But if you think about, so you're giving that award to people who do stuff.
Yeah.
How would the award look like?
The award, it would be huge. So because they do so much different things, there'd be a hammer on it. There would be a sewing machine on it. It could all be, or you could have it like a belt, like a wrestling belt, but with all the but also like a tool belt.
Right.
So you can have all the kind of
Oh.
bits. They put all their stuff in it. So you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
need to go and fix that window just now. I'll do that. Or I need to go screw that thing, and then which sounded ruder than I intended when I said that out loud, and that kind of thing. So yeah, it'd be like a big gold utility belt, so they could do all the kind of things did with a YouTube sticker on the front because everyone goes to YouTube.
I like that a lot.
Yes,
That's really
that's
good.
very unique.
Very, very unique. Well, I guess this is then bringing us to kind of our last question, which is a random question. So we sometimes don't know what we're gonna
Cool.
ask
Until you open your mouth.
pretty much. But today we've figured out that what we want to know about Scott is what's the most like funniest dream you've dreamed?
Funniest dream.
If it is PG, that would be perfect.
Oh, I'll try my best. I can't actually. So
or random
Or oldest.
As I say, I'm not a huge dreamer. The one dream I did have. So when I like first left school, I was working in like a shop, so I had to do mornings. So I would like start work at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd finish about 2 in the afternoon, and then I'd go around to like my wife's house to hang out with her in the afternoon, like during school holidays and stuff, like when we'd finished, or like uni holidays and stuff. And then there's one day I just went down and lay on her bed. And she was like chatting away, and you know when you kind of like half fall asleep because you're just really tired because someone was there. So she was talking, and then I just suddenly went, "Why does Robert De Niro only have one arm?" And Alison was like, "What are you talking about?" And in because I like half fallen asleep, I don't even know what the talk was. I can't even really remember the dream, but Robert De Niro had one arm in it. I was just kind of wondering about it. So yeah, that's it. But yeah, I'm not a big dreamer, but yeah, Robert De Niro only having one arm.
Oh my god!
As he kind of dreamt about.
Did you talk in your dream then?
Well, I think I was being a really good partner, and I was listening, and I'd fallen asleep, and I knew it was kind of my turn to speak in the conversation to add to it, and that was the thing I added.
I love that.
To fit into there. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. I don't know what it had in it.
I feel like that will end up being our podcast episode title. Why does Robert De Niro have only one arm? Usually it's something random, so
we will never know.
We'll never know.
That's a very funny one. I really want to know what the dream was.
Yeah, I'd love to know what the rest of it was.
What did you do there?
Yeah.
What was the vibe like? Were you like friends with Robert De Niro?
I don't know. I don't know if it was like relating to the story Alison was telling, and then one-armed Robert De Niro came in. I don't know if we'd maybe just been watching some films with him in it, so he was in my conscious.
Love that.
But yeah, he was
Dreams
just kicking about.
Rarely make sense, but they're like super logical at the time, aren't
yeah.
they?
So at the moment, like when I said it and she questioned it, I was kind of like, oh. Well, there was original like, oh, like, what are you on about? And then like, oh, I know where I am. I'm in the bedroom. I'm not hanging about with Robert De Niro. Yeah, I think
that's a good snippet, like just like to take away like a bite-sized thing there. Also, we wanted to ask, because obviously you mentioned already the JJ Bell, but but if you have any entrepreneurial friends who do stuff, there we go, relating it back to your thing. Then please, this is your time to do a shout out, and we'll tag them.
Nice. I can't really think of. So I've got my friend.
Yeah.
She's called Nicole.
She's
great. And does all those kind of things.
Hi, Nicole.
Hello.
But if there's, do you want just a general shout of things I like at the moment, or things I'm interested in?
Well, what we usually do is like, if you know, like for example, does this Nicole have a little side hustle?
She has so many side hustles.
Oh,
does she have an Instagram page?
Yeah,
she does. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know any of the details, but I can forward them on to you.
You forward them on.
But yeah, Nicole's super nice. And does lots of stuff.
What does she like do though?
So she works. She does so much stuff though. This sounds really bad because I never actually know what my friends do, but she does.
I'm similar.
She does some sort of accounting kind of thing. So she works for. She helps set up her own.
That's the person who puts your curtain roll.
Who puts everything else up?
Shout out to Nicole for that.
So Nicole
Respect.
for doing that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But
sorry, that was a terrible answer.
No,
I've done wrong.
She's an accountant, and she's looking for.
She's setting up her own thing. She's also got this really cool side hustle, which one of my other friends helped her kind of set up, where they go out to weddings and they put out this like phone. So you pick up the phone and you leave like wedding messages for the people to pick up. It sounds like it is a great idea. I was about to say it sounds like a great idea, but it is a great idea. But the messages get like increasingly worse as people get drunk. One of my friends like they used that. I think she used it at her own wedding. picked up and literally did the like, what's that? As if it was like 1999. I think he also did Borat down the phone as well, so it became very like thing. So yeah, she does all this kind of stuff.
You need to because some of the listeners might be like, "Oh, I have a wedding coming up," or
it's really cool.
Yeah,
I will send. I'll send you guys on that one.
Like,
no,
really
so
cool.
She got my friend who like she can do most things, but my friend's very like electrical, so he managed to get it up. But yeah, you pick it up and it goes to this voice box, and then you can download them all, and a nice little wedding message. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. There we go. That's a good little shout out to Nicole, but we'll have a proper Insta tag for the phone thing.
For the wedding thing.
And also for her accountancy, because I'm assuming she takes on clients.
She does. Probably.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works.
We don't know our listeners. There might be some people who are like,
could be.
Hey, I need an accountant.
I was going to say, it's so annoying because I know, so she's doing a new venture called Tax Torch.
Tax Torch?
Yeah, which is some sort of AI generated accounting to help with that.
Oh, wow.
But she's had her own company probably for the last 6 years, maybe even longer. And I can never remember the name of it. And we talk about it all the time. And it's gone completely out of my head.
Hey, happens.
But yeah, sure. Oh, well.
But she will forgive you.
We'll find that too.
Yes, it will be carefully edited out, and then we'll just record what the name is.
Just get AI.
No, it's too late for you. It's too late. You have to go and grovel. Yeah.
Oh.
No, but we will definitely tag. You'll send us the tag.
Can I look at it now because it's really going to annoy me?
Yeah, I'll gently. Oh, there we go.
I'm very gentle. I'm very gentle.
So gentle.
It's really going to annoy me if I can't remember.
Yeah, there we go. And meanwhile, we'll just kind of
talk about nature.
Yeah, just talk about. There was a nice little bird going on outside as well.
There we go.
We were nearly going to be blown away.
Yeah, it's very windy, but I think those mics will be fine for.
It's called Slick. That's what it's called.
Slick.
So it doesn't even start with a P, but it's SLLICK. So it's to do
SLL.
Yeah, double L.
Wow, Slick.
So it does all this kind of accounting stuff, and then they're setting up this tax torch thing, which is really, really cool. She was also at Taylor Swift, so she'd probably be more interested to talk to you than me.
Not at all.
Yeah. Did you guys go to Taylor Swift?
We did not go to Taylor Swift,
but
I saw everybody
in
the world went.
Yes.
Absolutely. But hey, listen. That has been really informative,
educational,
and good. Any parting words to say? Any quotes to say?
Quotes, yikes.
Any wisdom to spare?
One of my favourite quotes. This does have a little swear in it, don't it?
It's okay. If needed.
So there was I like to think this podcast, there's a famous footballer called Rino Gattuso, and he was manager of Marseille, and he was asked about how the game went, and I feel the podcast has probably gone this way too, where he said, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. And I feel that's and I feel that's a very good life kind of lesson. Sometimes things are good, sometimes things aren't so good. It's just kind of how it goes.
Matter of fact.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that beautiful note, we shall finish. And thank you so much, Scott,
You're very welcome, Scott,
for coming, and
thank you for your time
and for your time.
Yeah,
and we need to finish now because I will go and start watching Arrested Development and all these other shows that you talked about.
So right away.
But thank you very much, for Scott.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hello. You have reached our voicemail. Please leave your positive message after the beep. Beep. Only kidding, I'm still here. Anyway, call us back.
So, for this month's positive news, I was thinking, what can I take to the table? And literally, that's a good segue because I'm talking about fermentation. Because to begin from very beginning, our mom has a birthday in February. We are obviously not living at home in Estonia, so we always kind of think, what can we give to her as a present? So we usually give her, she's an avid reader, as a lot of Estonians are, and we give her like a gift card for the bookshop. And she bought a book about fermentation. And weirdly, I wasn't thinking, let's talk about that book that mom bought and we had a little leaf through when we last were at home in May. Because what I actually wanted to find out about was food and mental health and the links. But I thought like that's so vague. Everybody knows, yeah, sugars are bad. Sit down. No one needs to listen to this right now.
There is a direct link though.
Yeah. No, there definitely is, and that's for another podcast episode. But then I came across this article in positive.news website, which I think is the website I've used before for some of my positive stories. And it says, it had a title saying, "From kimchi to kefir, why ancient wisdom on food fermentation remains good for our gut." And I said, like, okay, they're mentioning someone who sounds a lot like an Estonian person. So it says, historically, cultures around the world have improved their gut health by eating fermented foods. It's a known fact. We all know that. Like, obviously, everybody knows in Iceland. Correct me, Icelandic people, if I'm wrong. But you even bury bits of meat.
Whale meat, isn't it?
Yeah, and ferment it and stuff. So guided by Rain Kuldjärv, you can't get more Estonian name than that, who is a food researcher and author. We chew over their enduring wisdom. So I had a read through this article, and I want to begin with a story that actually our mom told us from Rain Kuldjärv's book, which is called Fermentation, Simple, Plain and Simple, or in Estonian, Fermentatsioonist ausalt ja avameelselt, if you want to read it in Estonian. It's a very good book with a lot of fun photos of fermented cabbage and all of those things. But yeah, mom told us the story, and it actually is in English here as well.
Okay.
That's in this book that Rain Kuldjärv has, is that once upon a time, a long time ago, there was a nomad who was crossing the desert on his camel. Hanging from the pommel, which is like one of the vessels of things, like pouches, let's say, was his precious supply of milk. Carried, as was the custom in those days, in a bag made out of a cow's stomach. Nothing too shocking there. We all kind of know that that's what they used. Stopping to rest, he uncorked the bag to take a refreshing draught, a sip, only to find, to his shock, that his lovely milk had turned into something else entirely. Unintentionally, our nomad had invented cheese. So, of course, you could imagine he might have been like, thinking you have milk and then having cheese is a completely different thing, especially if you have no concept of cheese.
You're like, ooh, what's this?
That's this. I can't drink this. But we, this was obviously because of the combination of the naturally occurring bacteria from the cow's stomach with the heat. And the gentle stirring motion, apparently, that would have created that. We don't know what the year was, but that's what they think the story was. But he also said that fermentation goes back, obviously, a long way, and it in the book also says that, for example, there's remains of breadcrumbs dating back over 14,000 years, were found in Jordan Valley. Any bread in those days was made in a traditional way. And it involved at least some fermentation, hence why.
Like sourdough or something? Or?
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's called... Well, I suppose sourdough. So methods obviously vary across the globe. And most of them involve, obviously, yeast and or bacteria. So yogurt, soy sauce, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, kombucha, it's become more obviously popular. We've seen kombucha, and pickles. People have found their way back to fermenting because for a long time, with the discovery or invention, shall I say, of refrigerators, people didn't need to ferment. So for decades, it wasn't as used and popular because we didn't need to do it before that. Of course, even in our family, we know that, a lot of people in Estonia would things in the cellar. We did, like sauerkraut.
Or aunt always, like in the summertime, put a lot of like big cucumbers into salt water or something.
Yeah.
And
well,
it was so nice.
Why I got talking about this is obviously it's very good for your gut health, and the foods last much longer, but also sorry, I'm just looking at the message in the article as well. I want to mention a couple of different foods that are very natural. So basically, I'll get to why it's good in a second. So sauerkraut, it's literally fermented or sour cabbage. Hugely popular in Germany and Eastern Europe. Hello. It gave people the precious gift of vitamin C and other plant nutrients in the cold winters. There's kimchi, which obviously it wasn't very much what we have in Estonia. Now, obviously, there is more, but that's Korea's variation of the sauerkraut. It was buried in clay pots to keep it cool. And today's kimchi is spicy, but that's only a recent development. So chili pepper didn't arrive in Korea until the 17th century. So it depends what you mean by recent.
Yeah.
Then there's kefir, which we love from Estonia, which in UK, there wasn't a lot of it recently. It's in the shops, and not just the Polish shops. It's in the shops. Plain old milk transformed into tangy, effervescent taste thanks to a magic ingredient called SCOBY, which is symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. That's actually originating from Palestine. And the process was kept secret for a few centuries because it was meant to have mystical properties. There are also plant-based alternatives, but those can't be regarded as real kefir. Real kefir is very much milk. So that's a shame for me.
Well, there are some that the lactose has been replaced, I think.
I suppose, but it's still, but in his words, it's not really, real. And then there's kombucha, where the bacteria and yeast consume sugars in sweet tea. There's a lot of myths around kombucha. It's not just a refreshing and strangely fizzy drink. It has organic acids, vitamins, and bacteria, which all benefit the gut. So, almost any foodstuff can be fermented, apparently, like fish sauce. That's very popular in Spain. Salami. A lot of the different things that we eat actually include a bit of fermentation, which is interesting. I didn't realize that. I wanted to mention, so why it's good is because, for example, today's enthusiasm can be traced back to studies that were done almost over a century ago by Ilya Mechnikov, a Russian scientist. He discovered that Bulgarian farmers who regularly ate the local yogurt often lived to be centenarians, so 100 years old. He attributed the effect to a particular bacteria involved in its fermentation, which he called Lactobacillus bulgaricus. So, now, because
Isn't that like a probiotic or?
I think it is in one of them, Lactobacillus of us. I have probiotics, and that's largely to do with gut health, right?
Yep.
Because our gut is often has a depleted amount of biome, and eating a range of fermented foods boosts its diversity, the gut diversity, and favors the presence of beneficial bacteria. So that would, in return, obviously affect our physical and emotional health as well. So our food can indeed change our mood.
What about consuming fermented fruit juice?
Do you mean wine?
Yes.
Well, don't they do that in France? Like they have wine for even underage, can have like a little glass of wine, and they seem to be not overweight and not, you wouldn't think, French, they're famously ill all the time. Yeah. So maybe there's something to it. But I like the fact that fermenting is so easy to do at home. You can, and in this day and age, there's a lot of recipes out there, and it's kind of fun. And it made me want to do more salt cucumbers, because Mom, when she was here, one of the times pickles, yeah. But once you've done your own pickles, guys, trust me.
You never go back.
No, the ones in the shop are so vinegary. And don't get me wrong, I love vinegar, but that taste is completely different from what's in the shops. So you literally, it's so easy. It's so easy to do. You get the cucumbers, small cucumbers or pickles or whatever you call them, and put them in the not boiling but like hot water, is it? With some salt. You can put mustard seeds. You can put leaves like from even dill, but like is it one blackberry, blackcurrant bush leaves.
Yeah.
So you can try it out yourselves, guys. There's loads of different ones, kimchi and everything else, and it is good for your gut. It will help it balance out all this crap that we load into our little bellies. So I for sure am gonna try to get more of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Books and music, books and music. Join us for it if you choose it. Books and music, books and music. One more time. Books and music and yeah.
So Ulla, what book did you read this month?
I didn't.
That's
Sorry.
cheeky.
Yeah. To honestly tell what happened, I need to start from the beginning. No, I'll just start from last night. I just kind of noticed two really, really, really nice books on my bookshelf, and I was like, why not talk about them? All right.
Alright.
So they're like of similar nature by same authors. And they're not storybooks, but they are inspirational. They are the home edit, Conquering the Clutter with Style, and then the second one, the home edit, Life.
Oh, you have those books.
Yes.
I was at one point wondering, did I give them to someone else?
I've got them.
Good.
So these are by Instagram famous home organizers Klaas Shearer and Joanna Teplin. So and the home edit is also a Netflix original series starring these two ladies. But yeah, first me and you both kind of found them on Instagram, and then they did the Netflix series, and we were like, what? We get to see that? That's cool.
Yeah.
So these books are first they have a company which helps people to organize their cupboards and drawers, rooms, homes, and in the home edit Life, the authors give tips on how to contain the chaos also when it comes to their actual life, like work and travel and kids and pets and more like such like. So they began with tips on how to sort your clothes in a very like pleasing rainbow spectrum of colors, and having clever containers with nice labels for your kitchen cupboards or wherever, like bathroom cupboards, and then evolving to tips on how to set up systems that work for you, embracing your life and maintaining the system that you can work with, and that work with your lifestyle and your habits. So and both books are very aesthetically pleasing with a lot of colors. Well, this was Dolce nicely like making sure that we know she's in the room, and now she's leaving the room.
She's gonna ring the bell in a second to ask out.
I'll be quick then. But also they contain detailed descriptions and tips, although the idea of organizing your drawers and wardrobe and etc. Would probably fill anyone with dread. It can be quite a relaxing activity actually when you start with it, when you have made a start with it, and it might help someone to actually organize their thoughts as well, like organized cupboard, organized mind.
that old saying.
And contrary to some other advice about home and things, they say that it's okay to own things when it's for your self-care, and it's also okay to own things when it serves a purpose. So yeah, these are lovely books, colorful ones.
Yeah, very pleasing, and like I think I tried. Yeah, I definitely tried to do the rainbow organizing with Paul's t-shirts,
Oh, yes,
and
I
oh my
remember.
god, it was so pleasing to look at it. And then it kind of didn't work like that because Paul doesn't go through life being like, this is my blue week, you know. So it kind of very quickly was hard to upkeep it, especially since it wasn't my t-shirts. But yeah, it just happens, doesn't it? You have this one day where you have a nice clean out, and also, you know, organize your whole cupboard, and then life goes past, and then a couple of weeks or months or whenever later you're like, oh, I need to organize it as well. But you're right, because the mental health after the clean out day or stuff is so nice to like also finding things then to kind of give to charity and stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so I agree. The only thing that I have noticed in those TV shows is when they put like really elaborate like Tupperware, and they kind of, for example, decant rice into Tupperware, whereas I'm like, but it's perfectly fine living in a plastic, bag. If anything, I would make more space.
Well,
like,
I
take more
decanted,
space.
for example, my sugar packet, because it always just gets somewhere if you just try and open the
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
papery sugar packet, and then also the flour
Uh,
into these kind of
I
nice
see.
containers.
Yeah, you're right. I should do that. A lot of people do it with like cereal, so it won't get as stale and stuff. It's nice to look at, but sometimes I feel instantly that that's another step that I have to do then, instead of putting it in a cupboard.
Well, that's the thing. Like, some people might follow them to the T.
Yeah.
Some might just take, as they say, like just what helps with your lifestyle and habits. And stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Very good. My book was of a different vein a little bit. It's a very nice summer read. Sunrise by the Sea by Jenny Colgan. Basically, even the cover, I think I got it recently from Aldi, where they had like a few different books for quite cheap, and I was like, oh, just judging by the cover, it had like, I think it's like
Which
a
you
yellow
shouldn't
cover.
do, but yeah.
Very
We
true.
all do it.
We all do it, but it looked like a nice, easy, heartfelt summer read. It has a drawing of a island and like some buildings on an island on like a yellow cover, so it seemed like quite bright and cheerful. So yeah, it was quite nice, and the story was very, very, very good. It was basically about a girl or young lady who was going through long grieving process. So her grandpa died, and she just kind of found that she doesn't wanted to do anything, was wanting to be just at home, and how to overcome that almost like agoraphobia, which came on because of that grief. This now sounds like it's not a fun summer read, but it is, because it's made into a very lovely story how she basically ends up in that in village off the coast of Cornwall in
Which is
was it
lovely.
Bollebrook? Yeah, on this island that's like a tidal island, and how then she kind of meets some of the locals, and the stories get like intertwined with their stories, and how it all culminates, and I literally finished it this morning because I really wanted to finish it before the recording.
Your dedication is astounding.
Absolutely, it is. But I recommend it because it is a good, heartfelt summer read. Has a bit of romance there, but it's not the conventional one. But I won't say more than that, I think. But just a word about Jenny Colgan as well, that she is a Scottish writer, which I didn't know, but that's quite cool that I picked a Scottish writer's book.
Oh.
And mostly writes romantic comedy fiction and science fiction, and has written for the Doctor Who line of stories. And I think she won the Romantic Novel of the Year award in 2013 for Welcome to Rosie Hopkins' Sweet Shop of Dreams, and a Romantic Novelist Association award for Comedy Novel of the Year in 2018 for The Summer Seaside Kitchen. So she's clearly good at it. So
She knows what she's doing.
Aye, for sure. What is your music recommendation this month?
So everyone's probably heard this song. It's quite a popular song just now,
Oh yeah?
but I will just mention it anyway. It's End of Beginning by Joe. So Joe is an alias for American actor and singer-songwriter Joe Keery. Most know him as Steve Harrington in the hit Netflix series Stranger Things.
Oh yes.
So Joe is his solo music project. Keery himself has revealed on multiple occasions that acting is his daytime job and creating music is his hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Although he did used to be in a band before Stranger Things. For part of his 20s, he attended college and lived in Chicago, and also started out in the indie scene as part of psych rock band Post Animal.
Okay.
So yeah. So this song actually was written about 2 years ago, but it gained a lot of popularity this year. In the beginning of this year, it just went viral on TikTok.
How come TikTok? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's about change and personal development. It's a blend of melancholy and introspection, and also having nostalgia about where he has come from. Like I didn't actually double check it, but yeah, he lived in Chicago and he mentions Chicago in that song. I'm not sure if he is from there, but yeah, it's clearly a place he's nostalgic about. And the style is a mix of like alternative rock and synth pop with psychedelic flair and guitar riffs. So it's like, it always kind of like, when I listen to it in the car or like when I'm walking somewhere in my headphones, it's just kind of like gets to me. Like it's
vibey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've listened to it and I agree it's very vibey. And you wouldn't know it's him, although it's not a bad thing that it's him.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But I think he was even like wearing a disguise, like sunglasses and like a wig or something on stage because he wanted to kind of separate himself from like his acting persona and like
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are you bringing to the table this time?
So this one is actually quite an old one. This song is from 2013 and I listened to it just randomly because it came on when I was listening to like a running playlist when I had a run. I ran, humble brag. But it was Bang Bang by will.i.am. So
yeah.
it's very Charleston-y. It was, I can't hum it right now, but go and find it. The song is called Bang Bang. It's will.i.am and the vocals of Shelby Spaglione, who is from the band KSM, an all-female pop rock band from LA. They were active like 2006 to 2010, but it was also what some of you might recognize it from the movie The Great Gatsby, and it was so it was on the soundtrack for there.
I really like their soundtrack. It
Yes,
was quite modern,
so I think
right?
you would like this song. If you probably remember this song, but it was one of the ones that was like, oh yeah, that was a cool song, and it really worked with the film. Now it makes me want to see Great Gatsby again, because it has like a Charleston-y vibe, up-tempo fusion of it says here up-tempo fusion of 1920s jazz instrumentals along with synth-pop elements. I think there was some controversy apparently because it's thought that it used unauthorized samples from Sandro Silva's song Epic and Artie and Mazzo song Rebound, I think. So a little bit of controversy there, but the song is very good, very vibey, as we say, and really upbeat. So I listened to it again on my way to work, and it was like really nice. And then I put on Spotify on my way home modern ragtime, because I thought it was more ragtimey or something, and that was fun to listen to as well, just like a random different genre that I haven't listened to in a while. So yeah, Bang Bang by will.i.am. That's mine.
Ulla's fun facts about animals. And now the part where I ask about my wee furry friend Dolce. So
Yes.
how is she and what has she been up to, Laura?
Yes, so this time I want to talk about Dolce's tufts. So,
Alright.
because it's obviously summer, she is molting in the summer, shedding a lot, I mean, and we have...
Splendid.
Splendid. Apparently, Paul has seen them before, but I only found out, or like, I can't speak, saw those things this time around. But basically, from her like thighs and also the, how do you say, neck?
Chest part? Or?
Yeah, little
Where her
clusters.
mane is.
Yeah, little clusters of well, I just call them tufts. Sometimes come loose. And boy, oh boy, are they satisfying to pull out when they're just a little bit, so you can see a little whiter little area. And then if you gently pull on that, a whole tuft comes out.
You
Oh my
did
God.
show me that one.
It's so satisfying. It's so satisfying. I might actually put that video to one of our things so you guys, listeners, would see and you can confirm or deny if it is. Well, some people like, because there's like zits and stuff. I don't think that's as gross as that.
No, it's not gross. But yeah,
But it's one of those things that people,
niche.
that people like doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like pulling out tufts to the point where sometimes she's like walking away, and me and Paul are both chasing her, wanting to be the ones pulling the tuft out, basically plucking her. But obviously, we are not hurting our dog. That's not what I'm saying.
No animals have been hurt in the process.
No.
Good.
Yeah, that's my story.
Seems like a usual day in the life of Dolce.
Yep.
And yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so this month I would like to draw everyone's attention to a little funny looking creature called viscacha.
Huh?
The
Achoo?
viscacha is actually two animals. The one who's been made famous by memes lives in the mountains, and the other species... Oh, don't look at the pictures yet, Laura.
Okay, sorry.
And the other species live on the plains, both in South America. So, Laura, I'm now gonna show you some pictures and then try and describe this meme version of this little cutie, okay?
Okay.
Scroll down.
All right. Okay, so it's kind of like essentially a rabbit chinchilla. A rabbit chinchilla. That's how I would describe it. Picture a rabbit chinchilla. I don't know how else to say.
Any emotions? Does it look of
It's absolutely
any sort?
bloody adorable. Oh, or it looks like a little stubby, oh my God, so cute.
Yeah.
Kangaroo, but like really compact, tiny little kangaroo. Oh, there's a picture with yawning. Ridiculous.
Well, there's some pictures
Aw.
that have become quite well known.
Is that the one with like it makes like a selfie? That's like a selfie.
No, that would be quokka.
Oh yeah, that was the quokka.
Which I said. But for example, this picture, like,
Okay.
or there's a bit like more grumpier and sleepier. They've become famous as like the saddest and dissatisfied animals on Earth.
Really?
But also they closely, quite, if you're looking for a real Pikachu, they are kind of the closest that you could get in real life.
Oh.
Pikachu.
Oh. They
So-
do look a little bit like forlorn, like, oh, woe is me, life is hard.
So someone has actually described them as always looking sad, disappointed, and needing a nap.
Oh.
So that's why they're famous. So it's because of their drooping eyelids and downturned mouths. That makes them look perpetually sad. But let's get one thing straight, okay? Their looks don't reflect their actual emotional state.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
So they are a rodent in the Chinchillidae family. So meaning related to chinchillas, as you mentioned. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite close.
Like chinchillas with rabbit ears,
Yeah,
I feel.
yeah.
Mhm.
They live far, far away
Oh.
in countries such as Argentina, Bolivia, Chile.
Chile?
I always
Chile.
struggle with that.
Chile.
And Peru. They live in the Andes, the mountains. Andes, yeah. Sorry. The mountain range which runs through all of these countries and more, like in South America. They have a unique adaptation for conserving water.
Oh, do tell.
It's a bit yucky, but so it's just internally they produce very highly concentrated urine to survive. So it's very probably I don't know, gone through their system a few times. That's like
Ew.
I don't know.
Why do they need to do that?
So they wouldn't lose water.
Oh, in the Andes.
Yeah, and also they have a soft, dense fur that keeps them warm in the cool mountain air, as you saw. It's very furry.
Very furry.
And one other a bit yucky. If you're easily offended,
Turn off
this
now.
is your cue to do la 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 la, or put the volume down. But yeah, they are viscachas eat their own poop when nobody is looking.
Does it actually say when nobody's looking?
Well, yeah, one of the studies was made that they did notice that
Only when nobody's looking?
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that they have a sense of like shame?
But then also it's not meant to be like a shameful activity in their
Culture.
community.
Yeah.
It's a very socially acceptable act in the herbivore world.
Okay.
Fibrous plants hold on to their nutrients very well, and animals with only one stomach struggle to digest them in the first round.
Oh.
So one way to get more out of your food is to pass it through for a second round of digestion. And thus, poop eating or coprophagia is relatively common.
Okay.
And that concludes my fun facts about this little creature, viscacha.
Also known as
Viscacha.
rabbit chinchilla.
Yeah. Not to mix up with rabid chinchilla.
No, rabbit.
Rabbit.
Very fun. Love it.
Go check them out.
Go to Argentina and check them out
These
in the
real life
Andes.
Pikachus.
Aye, very good. I liked that a lot. That was fun.
Nice.
You've been listening to Glass Half Full. Hope it added something positive to your day.
Please follow us on Instagram at classhalf.full or email us at classhalf.full@gmail.com.
We're now also on Facebook.
We've been the Klaas twins, and we will be back again next month with more positive vibes.
Namaste.
No, namaste in bed.
Oh. Oh well.
No animals have been hurt in the process.
No.